Tottenham Hotspur 2, Arsenal 3. Pain at the lane for people like myself. On this channel, Sean Butler TV, we don't talk about Tottenham specifically. We talk about things more broadly. I've just done on the Spurs talk show more of a kind of in-depth analysis of my take on the Tottenham perspective. But on this channel, we're just talking about the game more broadly. And look, congratulations to Arsenal. It kills me to say it. I absolutely despise them. But in terms of a game plan, in terms of execution, output, taking chances, stepping up and looking for vulnerabilities and how to exploit Tottenham's philosophy, Tottenham's approach to games, and the clear weaknesses that have been identified throughout the last 6 months across the Premier League of how to play Tottenham Hotspur, then you have to kind of take your hat off to Arteta for setting up Arsenal in a way that was correct and that ultimately got the job done. I don't think Arsenal were at their best today. I don't think they were anywhere near their best. And I think that Tottenham, if I'm entirely honest, were the better team with the ball for the vast majority of the game in every department, apart from taking your chances in pressure moments and set pieces. I think the difference is set pieces. Tottenham do not know how to defend a set piece. We have this ridiculously frustrating mandate to do zonal marking, and Arteta is super intelligent in as much as that he goes, well, let's just, especially in the second half, put all of the Arsenal players at the back post and beyond, and Tottenham don't know what to do. We're stuck in zonal marking, so you have 6 players that are standing there with no one to mark, and you've got 9 players at the back post. I mean, absolutely incredibly frustrating as a Tottenham fan, but you have to call it as you see it and say, well done to Arsenal for not only identifying it, not only learning on the job, learning from past mistakes at Tottenham and saying, well, Tottenham aren't going to change, so those same things will exist. Let's take advantage of it. And you did. Højbjerg making the mistake for the first set piece, a brilliant transition that Saka was fantastic. And I think Saka is a brilliant example of the difference in quality that Arsenal have at their disposal in the top end of the pitch versus Tottenham. People like Kulusevski and Brennan Johnson were very impressive today on the ball. Lots of mazy dribbles, lots of good opportunities that were emerging, lots of kind of ticks and nods of approval in terms of the effort, the creativity and the heart, but none of the final pieces. And if you don't have the final decision to offlay at the right time, to shoot at the right time, to actually execute something with aplomb, then everything you've just done is irrelevant. And the difference between Tottenham and Arsenal is that when Arsenal had their chances, they took them. Saka, when he got that ball, Ben Davies was always going to struggle against Saka in that situation. But Saka does absolutely phenomenally, and Vicario has no chance. He wouldn't have got there if his arm was 4 foot long. So, like I say, one of those days where a team like Arsenal steps up, stands up, and I think respected Tottenham's abilities on the ball. They struggled against Tottenham for the most part. But when Arsenal had the moments, they took full advantage. And in the other areas of the game where I think there's a lot of debate, and I'm sure Tottenham fans will see it with their perspective and Arsenal fans will see it from their own, I think there was a lot of luck, a lot of 50-50 decisions that somehow all seemed to go Arsenal's way when it came to on-field. And then the VAR supported them for the most part. I think that the offside decision, I'm not sure if it was onside or offside. I don't think it was definitive. I'm not sure the lines were drawn correctly. But in any event, a toenail offside, for me, that should be a clear and obvious situation. I know the rule doesn't dictate for that, but I believe that should be the case where if a linesman's on-field decision is not clearly wrong, then it should stand. But anyway, there's that. And then the bad luck with Romero hitting the post, an inch to the left and he's in. The flick on Trossard, for me, that's a penalty because it's a foul, intentional or not. He's absolutely taken him out, tripped him, and it's in the box. If that's outside the box, that should be a penalty. So that would be a free kick on any given day, anywhere else in the country, but it's not today. VAR didn't give us any help. And even Michael Oliver's inability to see the actual penalty when he was 6 feet away from it, and it had to go to VAR to be overturned. To me, it was poor from the referee and everything seemed to lean Arsenal's way. I don't have that many positives to talk about Arsenal, apart from to say they got the job done and it showed signs of maturity that they found themselves 3-0 up in a game where they had been on the wrong side of 80% possession and where Tottenham had started well. And if I'm honest, on a man-for-man level, I think had wanted it more in most of the individual duels. There was a lot of good pressing from Tottenham that was successful, just didn't yield enough. But then when Arsenal got the ball, got the chances, won the corner, for me, a corner kick against Tottenham is kind of akin to a penalty or a decent free kick because we're so vulnerable. And like I say, kudos to Arteta for identifying a scenario where he could take advantage, and he did. And Tottenham didn't pivot, didn't adapt, and faced the consequences of that. Second half, Arsenal a bit more possession, a little bit more time on the ball, less rushed, less pressured. Tottenham have to be careful not of how to, to throw too much caution to the wind. You can end up being 4 or 5-0 down. Didn't work out that way. We eventually get the goal from a mistake from Raya. If Tottenham unnecessarily put themselves in a silly situation and found themselves 3-0 down when the game didn't feel anything like that, one-sided at half-time, then Arsenal were guilty as a criticism of them and Raya for a mistake of letting Tottenham back into it. Didn't need to, but a mistake from Raya falls to Romero. What an absolutely fantastic finish from a centre-back, by the way. On the half volley, puts it in a difficult spot. Far more difficult to score that than 2 or 3 of the other chances that Romero had today. But after that, Tottenham get there, winding their sails, the crowd rise up, and Arsenal have to sit deep and protect. And they look like they were struggling towards that kind of 75th, 80th minute thing. Then we get the penalty. Again, like I say, Michael Oliver should have allowed it, should have seen it and not have to go to the VAR, but that it is what it is. But Arsenal hold on, hang on tight, and, if you're going to, I don't know how you judge it, but I think a draw would have been a fair result. If I'm entirely honest, I'm trying to take my Tottenham hat off for this particular channel and say, I really do think that Tottenham deserved it. Tottenham were the better team. I think XG, Tottenham had 2.5 or something. XG, 2.7 maybe, and only got 2 goals. Arsenal, I think, only had 1.08, yet scored 3. Tottenham are their own worst enemy. They do not want to change and learn from their mistakes, and that, to me, is a really, really frustrating side of Ange. It's no longer naive. You can't call it naive. It's not innocent. It's not that he doesn't know any better. The sample size of mistakes that are consistently of the same theme is growing by the day, and we're not doing anything to resolve it, to solve for it, to improve on it. And every other manager, if they have any level of nous when it comes to exploitative tactics, and Arteta for sure knows how to find weaknesses and exploit them, then we're going to struggle at moments. And Arsenal today took advantage every single time there was an opportunity, or the vast majority of times. As the stats say, right? 1.08 expected goals. They come away with 3 points and 3 goals at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It wasn't to be for Tottenham. A very, very, very disappointing day. Arsenal carry on with the title race. It's over to Manchester City. I think they're currently beating Nottingham Forest, so the to and fro will continue over the few weeks to go. But Arsenal showing signs today of all of the professionalism and maturity of a title-winning team. If they are to go on and win it, then they deserve it for sure this season with their flow, their ability, and their general readiness when it comes to defensive aspects of their game. Tottenham, the first team to put a goal past them in, I think, over 6 hours of football. And like I say, on another day, if things had gone a slightly different way, Tottenham fans could be celebrating. But tonight, it's all about Arsenal. I hate to say it, but congratulations. I hope you don't win the league. But, there's still a long way to go in this season, even though the games are running few and far between. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, bye-bye.